This is Unfiltered Vitamin Z podcast brought to you by Zaid. Been going through a lot of different things in regards to what are people calling it these days? I remember before as a kid, it was always the Israel-Palestinian conflict. It was this war, it was that, and the Arab-Israeli conflict. I don't know what you want to call it. But the gang-banging beef that you see between chosen Arabs and chosen Muslims, because that's unfortunately the part of the conversation that's missing sometimes. It's not just Palestinians, but the entire Arab world gets involved, the Muslim world gets involved. Everybody's got a motherfucking opinion on this shit, and it's annoying, okay? I've been sick and tired of hearing this my entire life. So, some of the things I guess I wanted to point out. I'm gonna talk about things from a few different perspectives, because with me, almost 9 times out of 10 on any topic of conversation, I don't bring not just a Palestinian perspective, or not just a American perspective, or not just a Latin perspective or Muslim perspective, whatever you want to call it. I usually try to detach who I am outside of something in order to analyze it and discuss it and to view it. I'm gonna talk about it from a marketing perspective, right? Well, unfortunately, what's happening, I'm just gonna lay down some foundation things. Number one, I am a historian, but I ain't trying to give a fully accurate depiction of history, because depending on who you talk to, you're gonna hear history from different angles, right? Number two, I'm gonna say that the killing of innocents is always wrong, no matter who. You know, if I see a Jewish kid starving or an Arab kid starving, I'm gonna feed both kids. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, children are always gonna suffer the consequences of everything. Quran, it says to kill one innocent person is like killing all of humanity. However, some of the interesting things is that what is considered a civilian or an innocent person has largely been up for debate. But granted, because of when you support a government, right? When you are in a place and you support that government, are you really gonna be seen as a civilian? Because killing civilians is wrong, but then Hiroshima and Nagasaki was big ass bombs dropped on very few military targets, very few. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about 1 million Iraqis got killed. It's most of those were civilians, but are they not? That's always up for debate. It's always very interesting to see death or killing in the name of religion versus secular governments, right? Terrorism when it's done in the name of religion, but when secular governments do it in the name of democracy, it's always better. Killing innocents is still wrong. And one could argue that when you do fight to protect your people and to protect God, you are fighting a much more righteous battle than secular governments. Secular governments do it for greed. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, everybody has a right to defend themselves. I'm American. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, self-defense, having a gun, being able to defend yourself, being able to defend your family, being able to defend your right to live, correct? But let me just say this. Some people will use that argument and misconstrue it as support of Hamas. I don't support terrorists. I don't gangbang, all right? Fuck it. If it's Crips or Bloods, Israel got blue on their flag, we got red on our flag. I ain't down with that bullshit, okay? When people want to isolate actions and isolate one group of people and say, look at this specific case, look at this specific example, this was bad. But you also don't show what you've done is bad, and you also don't show what you've done is good and what they've done is good. Be consistent. People are not being consistent, okay? People want to criticize and demonize Israel, but at the same time, Egypt has blockaded Gaza too. Egypt don't want them terrorists either, okay? Egypt blockaded Hamas. They don't fuck with them either. Egypt had their own problems with the Muslim Brotherhood, okay? They definitely don't want more problems in their country. So they blockaded Gaza just like Israel. People will be like, oh, but the Palestinians are second-class citizens. The problem with the conversation when people say Palestinians, not being specific enough. They are not distinguishing between Palestinians in Gaza, Palestinians in West Bank, and Palestinians in Israel, right? Those are all 3 different demographics, 3 groups of 3 different people, right? Gaza is disconnected from West Bank. It's been its own things, right? Split off by the ocean. West Bank has its own government. The same government that was ruling over Gaza before Hamas took over and killed some of the Palestinian Authority members. All right, let's not get that shit twisted. At the end of the day, when people don't distinguish, you're not distinguishing between right from wrong. You want to summarize and group different things together. But if you're going to have a conversation about this very specific nuanced topic in a very gray area, that's another thing. Anybody you see that is very determined to make this about one side versus the other is stupid. I guarantee you they're retarded. I guarantee you they're probably, how do I say this? They're probably either a liberal dude, or 2, a woman. Either way, when it comes to the matter of geopolitics, you can't listen to either one, okay? Neither one has a right. And that's another thing that pisses me off. The liberal people. Let's talk about the liberals for a second. Let's get them out of the way. Them motherfuckers. They want to demonize Israel, liberals. I don't know any other place where you can be gay and smoke weed in the Middle East, except for Tel Aviv. Motherfuckers gay and smoking weed everywhere. I've been to Tel Aviv. Bunch of gay people, bunch of weed. All of these motherfucking liberals love all that shit. You're gonna be gay in front of Hamas? And then on top of that, I'm gonna say another thing about this. I'm gonna say the things about this topic that's not being said. If you want a history and all this type of other shit, go get it somewhere else. I'm gonna talk about the things that's not being said. Social media. Fuck everybody posting stupid shit on their social media, because here's the fucked up part that women do especially. Y'all be like posting selfies, you know what I'm saying, got your titties out, all that bullshit. Next post be some sad shit of some kids getting murdered, and then the next post be you getting avocado toast and shit. It's like, come on girl, be consistent. God damn, you can't go one day without posting some dumb shit on your socials. Like, at least dedicate one day for whatever cause you fucking care about today, post about it that day only, and then that's it. But they've been fucking up Instagram. I don't see no titties no more on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? It's just a bunch of dumb shit. But then it goes back to the dumb shit, but it goes back to the political dumb shit, and then it goes back to their dumb shit right after. Be consistent. So again, you know what I'm saying, women in politics, I mean, there's very few exceptions. Very, very, very few. You know what I'm saying? It's like, imagine if basketball had like, the #1 player in basketball was white. It sounds kind of odd, right? Like, damn, haven't seen that in a while. Same thing when it comes to women talking, you know, sense in politics. At the end of the day, women are war brides, right? Women are the trophies of war. Women are to be protected. So at the end of the day, a woman, if that tribe gets conquered, she's gonna go with whatever the next tribe says. So her opinions really don't matter. Men die for God, country, off of principles. We die for, you know, off of keeping our word. We die for family. We die for so many principles and ideologies and shit. Women have never died for. I ain't never seen a group of women come together and say, today we stand. Women ain't never got together and built no bridge, built no army, none of that bullshit. Okay, so whatever their opinion has doesn't matter. Same thing with this. If you are calling for war, if you are calling for the destruction of innocence, doesn't matter of who, you are a fucked up human being. And if you are talking all this shit on social media about, yeah, we're fighting, we're resisting. No, you're not, motherfucker. You living in a beautiful country just like me. You over here with Wi-Fi, electricity, and water just like me. So what the fuck, are you gonna go and hand in hand be in the same detriment, be in the same situation as they are and fight with them? If not, then shut the fuck up. It's simple as that. Like, I hear all this Arab women talking shit. I'm like, hey, not for nothing. Them Jewish women ain't talking shit, they strapping up. They got their boots on, their military outfits, you know what I'm saying? They're in the military, they doing that shit. Yo ass just on social media talking shit. Big difference, right? Be consistent. You also have, you also got guys talking shit too. What are the Palestinians of America? Israelis in America hopped on a plane, went back to serve. Are Palestinians in the US gonna hop on a plane and go back and fight? No. So why you asking for other people to fight if you ain't gonna do it with them? Don't ask for war. Don't ask for other people to commit war just to make your identity feel more secure in of itself, okay? That's fucked up. Don't do that shit. The Lebanese diaspora were doing the same dumb shit, calling for civil war, calling for a bunch of bullshit. It's like, you living in Montreal, you living in Australia, you living in Brazil, you living in New Zealand. Why are you asking for Lebanon to go into war? Are your kids gonna be there if shit happens? No, your kids ain't there, your wife ain't there, you ain't got legacy there, you ain't got nothing to worry about there. So why you care? You shouldn't be asking for none of that, bro. Ain't nobody should be asking nobody else to go fight something. No, unless you're gonna go there too. If not, then at the end of the day, bro, violence is horrible, okay? Don't matter what it is. And then it's like, oh, but they've been doing all this fucked up shit. It's the Middle East. We're over here crying and complaining about what is the Middle East. Don't act like they ain't fucked up shit on the goddamn daily basis, okay? When the Kurdish people asked for independence, did Saddam give a fuck? Did he not drop chemical weapons? And here's the thing, again, Palestinians want to be, we got the liberals out the way. Let's talk about the right wing, which is most of the Middle East, right? Most of these brown motherfuckers, we right wing, even when we come to America, we're still conservative, we vote for Trump. All right, cool. We like Trump, we like Putin, we like Saddam, we like real niggas. All right, cool. At the end of the day, however, how are you gonna be mad? If you gonna live by the sword, you afraid of dying by it too? That don't make no sense. Kurdish people were promised independence too. They got their own land, they got their own people, they got their own tribe, and they've been a part of every single country doing good things. Good for the Kurdish. Promised that they got their own land promised, and they wanted that shit. So now whack they ass. They didn't give a fuck. Innocent people, women, children, didn't matter. Boom, chemical gas. So you support that. And you don't condone those negative actions. Why are you gonna cry when shit happens to you? Everybody wants to support something. It's like everybody wanted to make Putin out to be some like bad dude. It was a gray area. It was a very gray area with Russia. And here's another thing about liberals, just for anybody watching. Palestinians like Putin, Israelis are on the Ukrainian side. Just to let you know, if that's how you're gonna battle things out. And everybody was like, why is the media covering Ukraine different than the way they cover Gaza? And it's like, first of all, do not have high expectations of the media. Really? You're gonna have high expectations of the media? Come on. You can't just look at media and just expect something to just be great. It's media. They're all bought and paid for. The entire media is bought and paid for. So what are we gonna be really complaining about when it comes to media representation? On top of that, Russian military invaded Ukraine. Ukrainians were fighting Russian military. They didn't attack civilians. They don't attack innocent people. They don't blow up a coffee shop. They weren't going to Russia, dragging people, bringing them back to Gaza and holding them to be kidnapped. Oh, sorry, Ukrainians weren't going to Russia, dragging people back to Ukraine, holding them to be kidnapped. They were fighting against Russian military. If this was military versus military, it'd be a totally different context of conversation, right? But it's not. So there's that. And then on top of that, people want to complain and act like, oh, all these Jews came from Europe. No, Jews in the Middle East too, been in the Middle East. You have to remember that before this land was called Palestine, it was Israel. So at the end of the day, you have people still on that land, even though they became minority. If you look at it from like first century BC, second century, like all the way like into now, Jews went from majority into minority. But those Jews of Ottoman Palestine and British Mandatory Palestine, as well as the surrounding Middle East, all were fighting to build an Israel too, right? It wasn't just European Jews who wanted to just build a state of Israel. These Jews wanted to build one too, and they were getting whacked in Arab countries too. So before 48 happened, between 1886 and 1948, there was pogroms against Jews in Mandatory Palestine, most notably the Hebron massacre, I think in like 1929. So they had reasons to be mad, they had grievances. All I'm saying is, when it's a gray area, which most things in politics is, at the end of the day, there are people that have grievances, always, right? You can go to any country and find somebody's mad about this, somebody's mad about that, somebody's mad about this, somebody's mad about that. You did this to me, I did that to you, you did this to me, I did that to you. Be consistent. Don't complain about this and not provide the full entire context. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Jews did some fucked up shit in 48, but there was fucked up shit that happened to them before 48. So at the end of the day, if you're not gonna acknowledge one thing, why are they gonna acknowledge the other thing? If you ain't gonna apologize for your shit, why would he apologize for his shit? If you ain't gonna be accountable for your shit, why is he gonna be accountable for his shit? But when you start as men, be accountable and responsible for your things and look and analyze things from a logical standpoint of what is the best move to make, like a chess game, play chess. Think about it. Everybody's getting millions of dollars. Hamas in Gaza and Palestinian Authority in the West Bank, getting millions and millions and millions. They the ones corrupted with their own people. They the ones not sharing that wealth. They're the ones not educating their people and building what they could be building. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, we never had a sovereign nation, right? This was Ottoman territory, then it was British territory, and we never got the chance to build a country. In 48, Arabs and Jews were offered a country, and it was 5 Arab armies that marched on Israel and lost again and again and again. At the end of the day, like I said, it's gang shit. So again, if you lose, you lose. If you say 2 + 2 is 4 and I say it's 5, but I beat your ass, it's 5 now. You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna set rules, but not like them when you lose by them, can't re-change the rules, right? You gotta stick to your word. You gotta stick to those rules. So end of the day, unfortunately, many people are gonna suffer, and it's sad to see. At the end of the day, it is wrong to demonize a bunch of different people. So I don't know what else there is left to do.